So with all of that, I'm very happy to be signing the voter integrity, and I think it's going to be really great. So, okay. So that's a big deal. Very proud of it. And I think, I don't know how it can be challenged. I'll probably challenge it. You may say to find a rogue judge. You got a lot of rogue judges. Very bad people, very bad judges.
President Donald Trump has just signaled a massive shift in how American elections will function, and he's doing it with the stroke of a pen. Standing alongside attorney Will Scharf and Howard Lutnick, Trump is framing this executive order as a foolproof strike against what he calls legendary cheating. The tension in the room is palpable as Will Scharf lays out the two-pronged attack, purging voter rolls and fundamentally changing how the U.S. Postal Service handles your ballot. This isn't just a minor administrative change, it's a direct challenge to the status quo of mail-in voting. By involving the Postmaster General to verify eligible voters and ballots, Trump is essentially placing a federal filter over a process that has historically been managed by the states. He's calling out ineligible people and inaccurate rolls as a national security-level threat to democracy. But the real hook? Howard Lutnick is about to reveal a barcode system that could change the way every single mail-in envelope is tracked and scrutinized. Stay tuned, because the president is about to take a flamethrower to the current election system.
Well, thank you very much. This was a meeting set up very proudly by us, having to do with voter integrity and mail-in ballots and stopping the massive cheating that's gone on. And so we're going to be signing an executive order. It's, I believe it's foolproof, and maybe it'll be tested, maybe it won't. I think it's very obvious what's said. And I'll ask Will Scharf to start off, attorney, a great talent, a very brilliant young man, and if you could discuss it, and then I'm going to ask Howard Lutnick to say a few words, and then I'm going to sign it, and we'll take a couple of questions. Okay? Thank you.
Mr. President, as you said, you have in front of you an executive order that deals with a number of issues relating to election integrity. As you've consistently identified, two of the biggest problems we have with election integrity in this country are, one, inaccurate voter rolls that allow ineligible people to vote in various federal and state elections all over the country. And then secondarily, you've consistently identified that vote by mail in this country has become rife with fraud. People returning ballots who aren't eligible to return ballots, ballots being sent to people who aren't confirmed to be eligible voters. So what this executive order is going to do is, one, we're going to take federal data. We're going to ensure that each state's election officials are provided with a comprehensive view of who the eligible voters in their jurisdiction actually are, allowing them to properly verify that everybody voting in their elections is legally able to vote. And then it orders the Postmaster General, the U.S. Postal Service, to take bold new measures to verify that ballots both being sent to people are being sent to people who are eligible to vote, and then that ballots being returned are being properly returned by eligible voters only. And we believe that combined, the measures in this executive order will help secure elections in the future and ensure that the many abuses of our election system in the past aren't repeated in future elections.
Right. Howard?
So the fundamentals of our democracy are built on voter integrity, right? We all need it. You've said it time and time again. It's a total agreement amongst everybody. So here's the idea. The states, right, run these elections. They will, if they want to use the U.S. mail, the U.S. Postal Service, they're going to get a code, a barcode from the U.S. Postal Service, and they're going to put that on the envelope, and we will have one envelope per vote. None of this time where we have no idea, there's no observers to mail, there's no envelopes, there's no certainty. That's all going to go away, and what the president is doing today is he's going to make sure that mail-in ballots are safe, secure, and accurate, and will have a clear distinction. If you voted by mail, you will have it on the envelope. Obviously not on the ballot, but on the envelope. So we will know 1 million mail-in ballots. There'll be 1 million envelopes, and you'll be able to know exactly, correctly, that citizens voted.
And this came up with some great legal minds. They looked at the various documents and everything that was going on, because the cheating on mail-in voting is legendary. It's horrible what's gone on. And it's very clearly covered very, very clearly so. I think this will help a lot with elections. We'd like to have voter ID. We'd like to have proof of citizenship, and that'll be another subject for another time. We're working on that. You would think it would be easy. It's a 98% issue for Republicans. It's 86%. The thing just came out, a poll, and it's 86% with Republicans and Democrats, not leaders, because the leaders of the Democrats cheat. And the only people that don't want to do voter ID are people that cheat. There's no other reason for it. Proof of citizenship, they want to be able to cheat. There's no reason. They have all sorts of reasons, excuses, but it's all nonsense. They want to cheat. But the Democrats themselves are very high. It's a very positive, very, very good thing. The Democrat voters, the Democrat leaders, guys like Schumer, who are corrupt, they want to use it for cheating because their policy is so bad with, think of their policy, open borders for everybody, where people pour into our country from countries all over the world. Think of that. You look at, just take any issue, take anything, everything they have is so crazy. But the fact that they don't want to sign voter ID is another issue. It's a big issue. The fact that they don't have proof of citizenship, that they want transgender for everybody, that they want men in women's sports. So the only way, they assume, the only way they can win is to cheat. When you have men in women's sports, it's fine, it's wonderful. By the way,
what we just witnessed was far more than a simple signing ceremony. It was a comprehensive declaration of war on the existing electoral infrastructure. President Donald Trump, flanked by Will Scharf and Howard Lutnick, didn't just target mail-in ballots. He connected the entire issue of voter integrity to a much broader, more aggressive political narrative involving crime, border security, and even cultural issues like men in women's sports. Let's break down the power play here. By ordering the U.S. Postal Service to implement bold new measures, Trump is utilizing federal executive power to bypass traditional legislative hurdles. Howard Lutnick's explanation of the one envelope per vote barcode system is the technical hammer. This is designed to eliminate the no observers complaint that fueled so much post-2020 controversy. If the states want to use the U.S. mail, they play by these new federal rules. That is a massive use of leverage that shifts the power dynamic from state election boards directly toward the executive branch. Trump's rhetoric here is particularly biting when he calls out corrupt leaders like Senator Chuck Schumer. By claiming that the only people that don't want to do voter ID are people that cheat, he is effectively painting any legal opposition to this order as an admission of fraud. It's a classic high-stakes political maneuver. Frame the procedural change as a moral necessity so that any judge, or rogue judge as Trump put it, who blocks it becomes a target of public scrutiny. The connection Trump makes between election integrity and the safest Mardi Gras in 58 years, mentioned by Governor Jeff Landry, is worth sitting with. He's building a case that his administration's interference, whether in New Orleans or through this executive order, is the only thing standing between the public and chaos. He even name-dropped the Olympics and the World Cup, suggesting he will force federal help on cities like Los Angeles and Chicago to prevent crime. The implications are staggering. We are likely looking at an immediate wave of lawsuits. As Trump himself noted, he expects rogue judges to challenge this. This is a deliberate setup for a Supreme Court showdown. By linking voter rolls to federal data, the administration is attempting to create a centralized verification system that critics will argue infringes on state rights, while supporters will see it as the only way to save the republic. Does anyone have any idea how high the stakes are now? This order doesn't just change the mail, it changes the battlefield for every future election. If you aren't paying attention to the barcode on your next ballot envelope, you're missing the biggest part of the story.